Hi everyone, I'm Scott Feinberg, the awards columnist for The Hollywood Reporter, and thank you for tuning in to FaceTime with Feinberg, a video series in which I spout off about an awards-related topic. Today, I want to talk about how this year's Emmy nominations hammered home something that has become increasingly apparent in recent years, namely that the Emmys in the age of peak TV are more than a little ridiculous. The reality is that even the most diligent member of the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences watches only a small fraction of the massive amount of content that they are expected to judge each year. There is simply too much out there. The average member, meanwhile, checks out the handful of shows that are generating the most buzz due to organic word of mouth, high-priced marketing and PR campaigns, or the mere fact that a show airs on one of the few platforms that are considered cool at the moment, and then picks their nominees from that very limited pool. How do we know this? A couple of ways. For one, there are 119 Emmy categories and there are hundreds of TV shows, and yet only 12 shows and only 12 platforms dominated the nominations. All other shows and platforms received only a single-digit number of noms, if that. For another, look at the acting categories in particular. In 2017, the TV Academy began instructing its members to select as many candidates on their nomination ballot as they deemed worthy of a nomination, as opposed to a fixed number. And this is how we wound up this year with a small handful of popular shows utterly dominating the acting categories. Saturday Night Live with 11 nominations, The Handmaid's Tale with 10, The Crown with 9, Ted Lasso with 7, and yes, Hamilton with 7 as well. Don't get me wrong, many of the nominated performances were excellent, but so too were many other performances that were bounced by them because, I would submit, they never got a fair hearing. Were none of the performers from the limited series The Underground Railroad, from Tuso Mbedu to Joel Edgerton to Chase W. Dillon, or from small acts, from John Boyega to Letitia Wright, worthy of a nomination? Or were they done in by coattail voting for Hamilton? It's a whole other conversation whether Hamilton, a film stage play that happened to debut on TV due to the pandemic, should have even been eligible for Emmys in the first place. Meanwhile, were none of the female performers from the drama series Bridgerton worthy of a nom? Or were they done in by coattail voting for The Handmaid's Tale and The Crown? Were none of the performers from the comedy series Girls Five Eva and Mr. Mayor worthy of a nomination? Or did voters simply not check out the new Peacock streaming service? I could go on. The fundamental question is this: do the Emmy nominations reflect the depth and breadth of quality TV in 2021? The answer? Not even close. One could argue that the current system of selecting nominees is, to paraphrase Winston Churchill, the worst except for every other one. But I think the TV Academy can and should do better than that. Does it make sense to restore a cap on the number of performances that can be marked on a ballot in the hope that voters will then make a more deliberate decision to shine their spotlight on a broader pool of shows? Perhaps. Does it make sense to go back to a system of small committees of truly diligent TV viewers selecting the nominees, from which the full of TV Academy then picks the winners? Perhaps. One thing, though, is for sure. In this day and age, the TV Academy should be expanding the size of its categories, not contracting them. It's utterly absurd, given the quantity of quality TV these days, to have, say, only 5 slots for the lead comedy acting categories, the variety talk series category, and the limited or anthology series category, to say nothing of having just 2 for variety sketch series. Forget about tying the number of nominees to the number of eligible candidates. Just expand the tent and shine a spotlight on a larger number of shows and talent associated with them. That's all for now. Thank you for tuning in to FaceTime with Feinberg.